Hey guys, welcome to the Truth Factor. We've got a couple of late breaking stories. It's late, so this is just going to be a quick little video. We're pre-recording it, obviously, for all intents and purposes here. Anyway, God is good. All of these articles will be in the description in the box below. Let's get right into these articles, guys. Let's share the screen out. We have from American bases on fire from War News 247. American bases on fire. U.S. Under general attack with Iranian ballistic missiles and drones in Syria and Iraq. Bombings F-15s. The U.S. carried out airstrikes with two F-15 against Iranian guard positions in Syria, with Tehran's response being immediate. Pro-Iranian forces, the Syrian army, and Iraqi militias attacked U.S. bases and positions in Syria and Iraq. The Iranians hit U.S. bases with kamikaze drones and ballistic missiles. The attack by Iraqi militias with an Iranian FATH BM-120 ballistic missiles launched from a converted civilian truck stands out. In a total, 2 U.S. bases on the countryside of Deir ez-Zor, the Al-Ahrar Air Base, and northern Iraq were hit, while the U.S. and Al-Assad Air Base, west of Baghdad, was hit 3 times, as well as an American patrol with an IED in Mosul. The Americans report some wounded but no dead. American sources, however, speak of losses which are not made public in an effort not to escalate the situation further. For this reason, there are a lot of grumbling against Biden. They attribute to him a lukewarm reaction. For example, yesterday there was no U.S. response after the MQ-9 Reaper was shot down by the Houthis. A U.S. defense official revealed that there have been 46 attacks against the U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria since 10/17. The 4 happened today after the F-15 raids. There's a couple of videos. We'll watch this one. Yeah. Then we have the U.S. struck facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the strike was carried out by the 2 F-15s against weapons storage facility in retaliation for the attacks on the U.S. personnel in Syria and Iraq. Following a series of attacks against Americans in Iraq and Syria, U.S. Central Command forces conducted an airstrike against facility in Syria used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups. We will take all necessary measures to defend our people against those responsible for the attacks and will respond at a time and a place of our choosing, the United States Central Command said in a statement. Here is a video from CENTCOM. Shows you attack here. Well, it almost looks like it's the attack. The building itself is exploding, right? There, I don't see nothing being dropped, but right there's one and there's one. They're just so, I guess they just come in so fast. I don't know. But anyway, almost simultaneously, it became known that there were 2 attacks by armed drones and 2 air bases where U.S. forces are stationed. One was at the Ahrar base in northern Iraq, and the other in Al-Assad in central Iraq. What is also attracting attention is that there is a second attack in one day on the U.S. Al-Ahrar Air Base in Iraqi Kurdistan. Last night, the base was hit by a drone, the explosion of which damaged the U.S. MQ-1C Gray Eagle attack and reconnaissance drone and the infrastructure of the military installation. The second strike again caused damage to the infrastructure. A fire broke out on the ground of the military installation, which American troops are trying to put out. Then we have fighting broke out in Deir ez is Zor Providence between Syrian and Kurdish forces backed by U.S. troops. Syrian forces are firing from the east against the U.S. and Kurdish positions located on the east bank of the Euphrates River. And let's see, there's just breaking U.S. defense official now tells VOA there have been 46 attacks. Just a confirmation tweet there, guys. All righty. Then we're going to go over here to nearly 1 million chickens to be killed in Minnesota farm because of bird flu. This is from End Time Headlines. Nearly 1 million chickens on Minnesota egg farm will be slaughtered to help limit the spread of the highly contagious bird flu, and it was confirmed, their officials said Monday. So again, we have more chickens being slaughtered, laying eggs. Egg farm, not, to tell you, look for the eggs to become scarce again and go back up in price, I'm sure, before it's all said and done with. We also have the agricultural announced that the virus was also found at a farm, Wright County, Minnesota, as well as 3 other smaller flocks in South Dakota and Iowa. Whenever the highly pathogenic avian influenza is detected on the farm, the entire flock has to be killed. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But, In addition to the Minnesota case, the USDA, some 26,800 turkeys will be killed on the farm in McPherson County in South Dakota, and nearly 17,000 birds will be slaughtered on 2 farms in Iowa's Clay County. The egg and poultry industry has been dealing with bird flu outbreaks since last year. Nearly 58 million birds, mostly chicken and turkeys, were slaughtered to deal with the virus, contributing to significantly higher eggs and turkey prices. You think? Anyway, we will just continue to report this. There's a little bit more in here, but you get the idea. More headaches. All right, then we have half of the U.S. at risk of a grid down this winter. This is from Hal Turner. Over half the United States now has inadequate power generating capacity for peak winter demand, says a new industry report. The 2023 Winter Reliability Assessment, RWA, report by the Northern American Electricity Reliability Corps warns of heightened risk for the insufficient energy supply during extreme cold spells. This concern extends over larger swaths of the U.S. and Canadian power grid, affecting approximately 180 million people. Those living in the highlighted regions should consider securing a backup power generation source. Power grid operations from Texas to New England are at risk of insufficient electricity supplies during peak winter conditions, the report said. The report continued that the reliable operation of the bulk power system and the availability of fuel for natural gas-fired generators are at risk during severe widespread cold snaps. It said the recent winter incidences have shown that over 20% of generating capacity can be knocked offline by freezing temperatures in areas of North America that are not accustomed to such cold. When power supplies are limited, the BPS operators may experience a sharp rise in demand due to increased use of electricity heating systems in colder temperatures. Again, Hal reminds you to get an emergency source for your furnace and refrigerator so you don't lose food, right? But guys, I mean, saying during cold peak that they're not used to it. I don't know about you guys, but all of up this here is really used to having cold temperatures, So unless we're gonna be, in subterranean weather that we haven't ever seen before, I call what on this. This is crazy. This is, people acting like they've never had a cold winter before, and now all of a sudden there's this strain on our grid. There's a strain on our grid not due to the coldness, but because we have people that want to try to do away with all of the fossil fuels. So, let's call it what it is, because we won't have enough of those good old fossil fuels to keep things running like we have in times past. So, guys, this is what you're going to have to deal with. Anytime that it gets overworked, if it gets too hot or if it gets too cold, this is what you got to look at and to think about. So I guess, you'll be thinking really long and hard when you're sitting in the cold, right? I don't know. That green agenda, guys. Anyway, that's what I got for you this evening, guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. Have a blessed night.